Fact-checking Joe Biden. Everybody loves it. Everybody hates it. Got it. Okay. Um, so, when Joe Biden and Barack Obama were running for the presidency back in 2008, Jesus Christ, I don't even remember. They ran on a message of hope and prosperity. In the final debate, Joe Biden ran on a message of doom and gloom, saying how many people have died from COVID. Now, while I do think these are stats, he just pointed out all the negatives Trump did without and sometimes lied about them. But if you look at the debate and my videos on it, you'll realize that Joe Biden's optimism is superb. Let's get into his fact checking.
We'll have another 200,000 Americans dead between now and the end of the year.
Unfortunately, Joe Biden, I couldn't do the numbers because that was live and I tried to pause as few times as possible, but I'm sorry to inform you, now that I've done the research, your numbers are way overblown. Now, the current expectations from the Institute of Health Metrics and shoot, what's the stupid thing? HEPA are in the worst case scenario, as in everybody just all the day after the debate, everybody just tightly grouped together, tried to spread a virus as much as possible. Or actually, no, that would be like insanely high. But in a worst case scenario, around 300,229 people are expected to die. Right? That seems very high. Right? Shoot. I misread this. I interpreted my facts wrong. So, if in a worst case scenario there would be an extra 100,000 or 109,000 deaths. Almost 100,000 deaths away from what Joe Biden's predicting. Whatever, let's continue with the fact checking, and you should always fact check yourself.
We just wore these masks. The president's own advisors have told him we could save 100,000 lives.
Now that seems a lot.
That's not.
That seems very, very, very inaccurate, and it is. According to the IHME, or the Institute for Medical Examination, or I don't even know what the IHME is, just know it's the IHME, says if we implemented universal masks, we would be able to save a whopping, in the best case scenario, like the best of the best, there would be 48,000 deaths by the end of the year. You're like, okay, what does this mean? Well, it means wearing a mask wouldn't save 100,000 lives. Okay, whatever, let's continue.
The way this president has responded to this crisis has been absolutely tragic. And so, folks, I will take care of this. I will end this. I will make sure we have a plan.
Ooh, I will end this. Okay, I ripped on Joe Biden hard for this because right before Joe Biden said this, Trump was discussing his plan called Operation Warp Speed, or the best name ever. But he promised to end this. Let's hear his brilliant plan. All these clips are taken straight from the debate. So if you want all these fully in context, fully everything in context, because I obviously can't do that because the video would be 10 hours, go watch the debate for yourself. After my video, please. Let's see his plan.
What I would do is make sure we have everyone encouraged to wear a mask all the time. I would make sure we move in the direction of rapid testing. Okay.
First of all, how are you going to mandate a mask and rapid testing? Kinda already encouraged / happening. But another problem with his plan. You can't force people to wear masks, and even if you tested everyone every 1 hour, people are still going to catch it. Did you understand that? So, in other words, since Joe Biden represents the Democratic Party, or so he claims, the Democratic Party doesn't have a plan. Also, if this fictional reality occurs, Joe Biden actually wins the presidency, he'll be set up pretty well. Operation Warp Speed, vaccine getting approved, and not exaggerated. Okay, it's kind of enough ventilators to last the next 1,000 pandemics. Kind of exaggerated. Okay, let's continue.
President Trump, your reaction, he says you have no plan.
We're going to have a dark winter at all. We're opening up our country. We've learned and studied and understand the disease, which we didn't at the beginning. When I closed and banned China from coming in heavily infected, and then ultimately Europe, but China was in January. Months later, he was saying I was xenophobic. I did it too soon. Now he's saying, oh, I should have, moved quicker.
My response is he is xenophobic, but not because he shut down access from China.
How is he xenophobic? I would like to know. Seriously, how is he xenophobic? And in the entire debate, Joe Biden never answers this question. But, second of all, that's a lie. On March 18th, Trump tweeted this: I always treat the Chinese virus very seriously and have done a very, very good job from the beginning, including a very, very early decision to close the borders from China against the wishes of almost all. Many lives were saved. The fake news narrative is still disgraceful and false. 8 hours later, stop the xenophobia, fear-mongering. To be honest, take responsibility, do your job. And he quote tweeted the original tweet. So tell me again why you didn't call him xenophobic for that. Oh yeah, you did. Then a week before that, Joe Biden tweeted, "A wall will not stop the coronavirus. Banning all travel from Europe or any other part of the world will not stop it. This disease could impact every nation and any person on the planet, and we need a plan to combat it." Kinda seems like you're calling Trump xenophobic. Then, Joe Biden, after that, starts complaining that Trump did it late.
Countries had already done that.
According to the Washington
According to the Washington Post, Trump's claimed that he imposed the first China ban. I cut off China very early. I didn't. I wouldn't have chart that if you wouldn't believe so. Oh Jesus Christ. Oh God. Jesus, your language, the Washington Post, sucks. But these 11 countries imposed travel bans before Trump did. The Marshall Islands, North Korea, Hong Kong, Singapore, Papua New Guinea, the Bahamas, the Maldives, the Trinidad and Tobago, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Rwanda. 11 countries, not 40. So tell me again. But on the same day, on the same day Trump imposed his travel restrictions, the following countries imposed theirs: El Salvador, Guinea, Iran, Italy, Jamaica, Morocco, Augustina and Barbara, Turkmenistan, Morocco, the Solomon Islands, Micronesia, and Jesus Christ, Caribbean. I don't know how to say half of these names, but please forgive me. Also, if you think Joe Biden would have closed the border that early, think again. Joe Biden, Trump is worse than possibly a leader to deal with coronavirus outbreaks. So far, Trump has blindly treated that it will allow all work well, and yet he has taken the present have only weakened our relationships with other countries. In other words, Joe Biden wouldn't have shut down the borders. Continue fact checking.
And then what happened was we started talking about using the Defense Act to make sure we go out and get whatever is needed out there to protect people. And again, I go back to this. He had nothing. He did virtually nothing.
Virtually nothing, Joe Biden. You say virtually nothing. Do you understand what virtually and nothing mean? Virtually nothing means almost nothing. Do you even understand what that means? Now, let's say you're an idiot, Joe Biden, because Trump invoked the Defense Production Act 78 times between March and September. So please explain to me why President Trump hasn't been using the Defense Production Act. Because he's been using it more than you. Then Biden complains about how Trump went to Wall Street and said, hey, this is dangerous, and some of the brokers said, sell short because we've got to get it moving. Now, the article that Biden's referencing is a virus spreads report of Trump administration's private briefings fueled by sell-offs. A hedge fund consultant's summary of private preservation's White House economy advisor feigned investor worries. On President Trump's declare on Twitter that the coronavirus was a very, very much under control in the United States, and numbers of Rosie State and his advisors made the time about the worsening epidemic. He even added observation for investors, stock market starting to look very, very good to me. Remember, this was before economic crash. So if you actually do your research, the entire article is basically a memo, which we haven't seen, so we're just gonna have to go trust the New York Times, was handed out to some investors, and they saw it as a time to sell. That's it. That's the entire article. Let's continue with more fact checking.
I do want to ask you, Vice President Biden, about China. President Trump has said that they should pay for not being fully transparent in regards to the coronavirus. If you were president, would you make China pay? And please be specific. What would that look like?
Now watch Joe Biden.
Okay. Joe Biden's gonna screw this up. Okay.
What I'd make China do is play by the international rules.
What international rules?
He has caused the deficit in China to go up, not down.
What? Deficit? Okay.
With China, up, not down.
You said that before. Hello? Joe Biden, is your brain melting again? Do we need to replace your brain?
No.
Yeah. So then Joe Biden complains about how he embraces thugs and things like that. And then Joe Biden continues about how we should convince other countries to put sanctions on China. We could also worry about policy that affects the U.S. more directly. Now, to be fair, Trump did not give an answer either, but you'll see why.
What specifically are you going to do to make China pay? You've said you're going
First
to
of
make
all,
them pay.
China is paying. They're paying billions and billions of dollars. I just gave $28
He had to go defend his trade policy.
billion.
New sanctions?
I just gave $28 billion to our farmers.
Taxpayers'
China,
money.
Taxpayers' money.
It's what?
Taxpayers' money.
No, yeah,
China.
you know who the taxpayer is? It's called China.
It's called China. Joe Biden, you're full of it. Just sit down, get your apple. An apple a day keeps the IQ tests away. Oh, let's continue.
Look, this isn't about. There's a reason why he's bringing up all this malarkey. There's a reason for it.
Malarkey. Really, malarkey.
He doesn't want to talk about the substantive issues.
Joe Biden.
The substantive issues. Substantive issues, Joe Biden. You want to go talk about some substantive issues? Oh my god, you are going to turn me inside out with this. Joe Biden just said that international trade isn't a substantive issue. Trade isn't a substantive issue. Oh my god, Joe Biden, are you mentally deficient? What is wrong with you? Trade is absolutely Jesus Christ, what the hell did you even say? You're infecting me. Joe Biden, trade is a substantive issue. Oh my god, Joe Biden, you've really done it. You have flipped my lid. Let's continue.
Got it.
If you're a middle-class family, you're getting hurt badly right now.
Why? Trump? I bet it's Trump.
You're sitting at the kitchen table this morning deciding, well, we can't get new tires, they're bald, because we have to wait another month or so. Or are we going to be able to pay
Oh my Jesus, your gloom.
the mortgage? Or who's going to tell her she can't go back to community college?
Oh, fun.
They're the decisions you're making in the middle-class families like I grew up in Scranton and Claymont.
I'm stuck.
Joe Biden, you did not grow up in Scranton or Claymont. Okay, you might have lived there for a year, but you did not live in there. Let's listen to Donald Trump absolutely discredit his entire argument.
Seconds, Mr. President.
That's
10
a
seconds.
typical political statement. Let's get off this China thing, and then he looks, the family, around the table, everything. Just a typical politician when I see that.
Let's talk
I'm
about
not
North
a typical
Korea now.
politician.
Okay,
That's why I got elected.
Let's
get off the subject of China. Let's talk around sitting around the table.
All right.
Come on, Joe, you can do better.
No precedent.
Oh, come on, Joey, you can do better. I'm sorry, Mr. President, but you're giving Joe Biden too much credit. He can't do better. Next segment of the debate was on criminal justice reform, and this one I laid into Joe Biden the most because of his 1994 crime bill. Spoiler alert. Let's do this.
And talk about granted, he did in fact let 20 people, he commuted 20 people sentences.
So?
We commuted over 1,000 people sentences.
Yeah, but you don't want to commute too many people's sentences. You know, that's kind of bad.
Over 1,000.
Let's look at.
Also, Joe Biden, you sure it was 1,000? During President Trump's presidency, President Trump issued 27 pardons, which is close to 30, so, yeah. We'll look at Obama's first term. How many pardons do you think there was? Just guess how much. 22 were pardoned and one person was granted clemency. Meaning President Trump has pardoned more people. Do you understand me? Then he says the federal prison life was reduced by how much? Shoot. 28,000 people. Wrong. Flat out lies. Okay, at the beginning of Biden's presidential federal prison population was 208,000. Got it? And now at the end of Obama's term, it was 189,000 total people in the prison population. Le croissant, you're off. Why the hell did I just call him Le Croissant? But he's off by a factor of around 16,000 people. So, yeah. And that's over double what it actually decreased, which was 12,000 people. So, he's shooting for the stars. Wait a second, I'm getting something from my rechecking. He went 10,000 more. He's off by 26,000. When I said shooting for the stars, I now mean shooting for another galaxy. Let's continue fact-checking him.
Let me give you a chance to respond within this context. Crime bills that you supported in the 80s and 90s contributed to the incarceration of tens of thousands of young black men.
Yes, it did.
Who had small amounts of drugs in their possession. So speak to those families. Why should they vote for you?
One of the things is that in the 80s, we passed 100%, all 100 senators voted for it, a bill on drugs and how to deal with drugs. It was a mistake. I've been trying to change it since then, particularly the portion on cocaine.
Biden.
Okay, first of all, without doing any research, yeah, it probably wasn't a 100-0 split. Second of all, Joe Biden. Oh my god. Even if it was a 100-0 split, President Trump's never been in the Senate. As in, he did not vote yes on the bill, while you did. You were the one who authored it. So you're entirely responsible. 1 second. Biden co-authored the bill, which was in 1986. So, he is partially responsible. God damn it. So, the bill also contained a sentencing, change, between crack and powdered cocaine of up to a 101 ratio.
We have to hold every drug user accountable. Because if there were no drug users, there would be no appetite for drugs and there'd be no market for them.
And since the
Yeah, there would.
crack epidemic.
And that would be fine if you still supported it now. But Joe Biden tried to take the focus that he was tough on crime and is now looking at, but look what this did, and I'm trying to reverse it, and Trump evil, and I definitely didn't co-author the bill that I'm arguing is bad. Then he says, look at this guy, he said, the problem with the crime bill is there's not enough people in jail. And he says, go check out my website. Well, I did, right after their debate occurred. Oh, and I checked it the day after, and I've checked it today. There's no link. I've legitimately searched. There is no link. Joe Biden, either your staff is super lazy or it doesn't exist. Wait, no, it couldn't exist because Trump evil. Trump Hitler. Trump is literally Hitler. So when Joe Biden was talking about Trump, he actually didn't mean Trump. He meant someone called Biden. I meant Joe Biden.
Gangs and the people who are going to maraud our cities.
But the violence associated with drugs is spewing out all over America. And that's terrible. Violent drug offenders will commit more than 100,000 crimes on this day alone.
This is the guy who said the problem with the crime bill, there's not enough people in jail.
In a nutshell, the president's plan doesn't include enough police officers to catch the violent thugs, not enough prosecutors to convict them, not enough judges to sentence them, and not enough prison cells to put them away for a long time.
When you accuse
So, Joe Biden, who said all these things again? Oh yeah, President Trump. Definitely. So then, Joe Biden says, I'm trying to revert those bills, and then then Donald Trump had one of his best moments in the debate.
It's all talk, no action with these politicians. Why didn't he get it done? That's what I'm going to do when I become president. You were vice president along with Obama as your president, your leader, for 8 years. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years to get it done. Now you're saying you're going to get it done because you're all talk and no action, Jim.
We got a
Your
lot of it
response.
done. We released
You didn't get
38,000.
anything
We got
done.
38,000 prisoners left from the.
You got
out of
nothing done.
38,000 prisoners were.
Actually, no. You're overshooting by a factor of 26,000.
Released from federal prison.
Nope.
Why didn't you do it in the 8 years, a short time ago? Why didn't you do it? You just said, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. You put tens of thousands of mostly black young men in prison. Now you're saying you're going to undo that.
What President Trump
Yeah, you can't undo that, Joe Biden. His response to why he didn't get it done is, it's a Republican Congress. That's why we didn't get it done. That's his legitimate response, including the awkward pause. I'm not joking. Let me go play it for you. Here's his response.
We had a Republican Congress. That's the answer.
Nope.
But, Joe Biden, 2 brains in 1 debate. That's a new record. But also, it just so happens to be that during President Obama's first 2 years in office, he just happened to have a Democratic Congress. So tell me again why you didn't pass those laws? The Democrats both had a majority in the House and a supermajority in the Senate. In other words, they had plenty. I say plenty of time to get the bill passed. But just remember, if you're not committing crimes, you shouldn't get arrested.